Well, time now for Media Watch. James Creedon's here with us in the studio. And James, you're talking about one of the stories I just mentioned. Yes. Manuel Valls, the French Prime Minister, has waded into this debate on the burkini. He says he's not taking the ban nationwide, but he does support the 3 or 4 mayors who have now decided to ban it.
That's right. Can I just say it's the third day in Media Watch we've been talking about the burkini, and it's also the third week that it's been in the news. So I think we should rename Media Watch BurkiniWatch.
BurkiniWatch, or maybe you should wear one.
With the Baywatch jingle. But
I won't
it might be inappropriate. Anyway, so Manuel Valls, he has waded into the murky waters, as you said, and he says he understands and supports the mayors, but he doesn't want to legislate for it. On the political left, there was some criticism of the Prime Minister, Benoît Hamon, who is a candidate for the Socialist Party presidential election next year. He said, well, what's next if we're going to start targeting burkinis on the beach? Are we going to start targeting people who are wearing, for example, the beard in the street? Is that also going to be seen as a provocation? And if it's really serious, then we should legislate for it. And he went on to say Islam should be treated as an ordinary religion, and that this kind of issue is, he was critical of it in any case. Another, Olivier D'Ardigol of the Communist Party, said, look, this is really following in the footsteps of a radicalised right wing who are running themselves after the National Front, and it's playing a very dangerous game. It's playing the game that the terrorists want, which is essentially dividing the country around these kind of issues.
And it has proved very divisive, hasn't it? Because you just take a glance at any French newspaper and it is right there, and you've got both sides of the argument being put forward very forcefully.
That's it. So we'll just maybe to look at one side of the argument, which would be the side, I suppose, that Manuel Valls is defending. Let's not be naive about a symbol that this material represents. Now, this is an Egyptian editorial writer, Alam Wassef, and he is very critical of Wahhabism, which is, I guess you could say, an extreme form or brand of Islam that has emerged from Saudi Arabia, in particular since the 1970s. A massive investment in training imams, in encouraging people to cover up more than would have been the case previously.
Women.
In women in particular, indeed, and also a massive investment in satellite television channels across North Africa, the Middle East, etc. They've invested, the Saudi state has invested $100 billion since the 1970s in the Wahhabist brand of Islam, which has given the illusion to many indeed, that it's the most authentic version of Islam. Now, this is something that Alam Wassef strongly disagrees with, and he says any means possible to stop emanations of Wahhabism, which he sees the burkini as being, are legitimate, and indeed, so he supports what the mayors have done. He said it's more a sign. He said it's a sign that we don't have any fear of. What he's basically saying is that a distinction should be made between Wahhabism and ordinary Islam. They're not the same thing. And the second one, Wahhabism, has been threatening the first for about 2 centuries now, and it's right to block it in any way possible.
All right, a very contentious issue, and not least for feminists, of course, who have also given their view on the debate. It's
interesting to hear what they're saying. So you have this lady who's very well known here in France, Ina Shevchenko. She is one of the leaders of Femin, and she said France, with its deeply rooted tradition of secularism, she goes on to point out that they have forbidden the veil in schools, and that seems to have been a positive measure in the studies that were done afterwards. Covering your face is illegal, so the burqa or the niqab not allowed, and she said for security reasons that's completely understandable. But she says the latest ban of burkinis for women on beaches is a fatal failure for France and its secularism. Attempting to ban a fundamentalist idea by law will not lead to progress of secularism and union in society. She goes on to say, we cannot allow ourselves to use the same dictatorial tactics as fundamentalists in the name of secularism and humanism. Don't forbid an idea, fight it with a better idea, and secularism is one of them. Caroline Fourest, another feminist, also weighing in on it. And what she said is, look, I really, really don't like the burkini. She's a very vocal critic of creeping Islamism or in French society or whatnot.
This is in the Huffington Post, right?
In the Huffington Post, and she said, you know what, I don't like it, I wouldn't like to see it on the beach, but it's sending a message to me that I'm dressed not modestly enough, in which case the message that I might send is to strip off totally naked, which I'm not sure that's necessarily a scene
That's not
that
allowed
anyone wants
either,
to.
is it?
But she said, look, the banning it is
They're all
only
saying
going
a ban is not the right thing to do.
it's just going to create a backlash, and it could actually encourage people to wear the burkini even more.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. You got some cartoons to lighten the mood.
All right. I'm not sure if they've really lightened the mood that much. Somebody's saying, look, we've got all these other stories that maybe should be focused on, such as unemployment and other issues that are affecting people. This is getting too much centre stage. And here, the irony of all of this, 1966, or at least an imagined scene on a beach in France, get dressed, lady who is bearing too much skin. And then in 2016, it's get undressed, you're overdressed.
Yeah.
And on the same vein, you have this ad here, or this cartoon here, which is too detailed to go into, but basically saying women are being criticised whether they wear too little or too much or whatnot. Maybe people should just
women's bodies.
wear what they want. I don't know.
There's always some sort of controversy, somebody getting upset about something.
I think you're very well dressed this evening, Laura.
Thank you, James. I'll take that and leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, James Creedon.